Hello, and it's another edition of the Monthly Mystical. I'm so excited. I just love doing these interviews. It's just so much fun. So now today we have Becky Belgraie. Now I don't want her to tell me off because I almost got her last name wrong at the other day, and that's not good, is it? So yes. So without further ado, as they say, let me bring her in, and we're going to have a wee chat about poppets. How exciting! Hang on, let me just get her in. And here we go. And I'll just change my view. Oops. Here we go. And
hey,
hello.
Jackie. How's it going?
I'm doing good. And how are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Excited to be here this evening to talk about something so fun.
Yes, it's very much fun. I'm so excited about this one.
Because who doesn't want to talk about dolls?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well,
because most of the stuff that I normally do is quite hard work, let's say. So yeah. So talking about something that's fun and easy to do, well, that's just major fun for me. Well, so yes, I'm excited.
Do you know something? I think in some ways they're fun and easy to do, right? But at the same time, the intention and the amount of work you have to put into actually getting your poppet to work,
right,
it's not so easy.
Okay.
So whilst they are great fun and awesome to do with your friends, it's like any magic, right?
Yes.
You still have to put it in.
Well, you got to make the effort. Exactly.
Yeah, you do. You do. So you're not just going to make a poppet, guys, and it's going to work, right? You actually have to work with your poppet.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So come on then, let's go. So start off, you need to tell me something about the history of poppets. So I mean, this is obviously like witchcraft and folklore. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, it's folk magic. Well, it's folk magic because it's really old. I mean, the earliest English recording of a poppet is in the 10th century.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a long time ago, and this kind of is what separates it from what many people think it's the same as a voodoo doll. Well, it's not, because the voodoo doll didn't come around until the 17th century, because as we know, voodoo is a mixture of magic mixed with Catholicism. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't around until much later. So I think that people sometimes do mix them up a little bit, but they're not quite the same. Poppets are much older and far more less cultural.
Okay.
So you'll find out that they have got different names depending on what region they're from.
Okay.
But basically, the likelihood of the earliest dolls being dolls to play with by children, they weren't.
Right.
So dolls weren't really made historically to play with by children. Historically, humans have used figures of all sorts for ritualistic purposes. So prehistorically, cave paintings of successful hunts and the sun and the moon and the stars could have been painted to ensure a good harvest or an abundance of meat. So not necessarily telling us a story, but to actually bring them what they need to kind of evoke what it is they need in their lives. Cool. Fertility symbols or dolls were likely made to encourage childbearing. And paintings and dolls of children and adults could have been made to represent the growth of children that were born, because children died, didn't they, in childbirth? And I suppose
a lot,
people, so people wanted to reproduce. They needed to keep their communities going. So maybe they were originally to represent the growth of the child, keeping their child alive. And funnily enough, when I did a little bit of research, I found out that the earliest known entire human figure is that of the Venus Hol Fils. Now, it's German.
Okay.
German, okay. And it's made entirely from mammoth ivory and is said to be dated to the Upper Paleolithic period. And anthropologists have suggested that such figures were made for the hope of survival and longevity within well-nourished and reproductively successful communities. And she was unearthed in Germany in 2008.
Oh, wow.
So
Flipping
that
out.
kind of does tie in with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Wow.
That these figures
That's
weren't
so
to
good.
play with.
No.
They were to represent the growth of the community and to kind of try and bless the community with children.
Yeah.
However, representations of humans, animals, ancestors, gods and goddesses and the like have been made over the years for many, many reasons, as we know.
Yep.
Do you have a particular favourite?
For what?
Do you have a particular favourite? Is there any kind of because lots of people, they kind of they may know of a particular god or goddess or something.
Okay, so my favorite,
they may resonate with, you know, they may feel a resonation with.
well, my favorite goddess is going to be Isis, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so that's my probably most resonated goddess of the yeah.
And do you have a figure of Isis?
I do. I have a figure of Isis in my head. Of course.
I'm sure you have many.
Yes.
So, funnily enough, we're going to the ancient Egyptians right now.
Oh no, it just made me tingle.
Okay.
I love the Egyptians.
The ancient Egyptians held the belief that all statues and images held something of spirit. And they also used servitors. They called them Ushbati, to place in the tombs of important peoples to do their biddings in the afterlife. Mm-hmm. So that's what the statues were for.
Yeah.
They also created paddle dolls. So they made paddle dolls. Mm. Now, these could have well been played with by children, and if so, could have been painted in the likeness of ancestors, parents, grandmothers, you know, goddesses, gods, as a protective factor when they were out playing or when they were sleeping. But the ones that have actually been found from the Middle Kingdom have been noted to be musical instruments used during religious ceremonies. When shaken, the beads used to represent the hair would have made a sound to appease a particular deity. It has been suggested that one such deity was the goddess Hathor. Still, it shows how long the use of dolls have been used in worship and in one way or another. It's a long, long time. I mean, and I'm sure people who may be watching this watched the talk on the golem.
Yes.
You know? Well,
yes,
the golem was a servitor, really, and you know, this is what we would have called him in this day and age. And there are lots of names for poppets. So they can be called a poppet, a moppet, a mommet, or maybe a pippy.
Okay. Just to make it more interesting, let's have a few more names. Yeah.
Well, it was terms of endearment, I think, because they were cute.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I'm very straight. I'm very straight, like to the point. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, another name for this, another name for that, and I'm like, really?
So but I suppose I suppose it depended on region.
Yeah.
You know,
yes, of course. Yeah.
Where the people like northern and you know, we still do it now, don't we?
Yeah. So up the north you would say something else, and down south you would call it like your tea and your dinner type thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough about the world history, and let's get down to what we're here to talk about. And we're here to talk about the poppet doll that we use.
Yes.
You know, I've already mentioned about the difference between a poppet doll and a voodoo doll and the times between that. And they've been found in homes in England for many, many years, hundreds, in fact. So Martin Duffy, in his book Effigy,
we put that in the link.
Earliest mention was in the 10th century.
Okay, yeah.
So this was a woman and her son, and I believe they were arrested for witchcraft for stabbing the doll with iron rusty nails.
What? mental. Or you got arrested for stabbing a doll.
You'd probably
That's
still
crazy.
get arrested for stabbing a doll.
I don't know. That's a bit
Who
crazy.
knows?
Right?
Who knows? So firstly, we are looking at sympathetic magic. Okay,
Yes.
so we're looking at a particular type of magic. And I don't want everyone to what sorry.
I was just gonna say, just before you get into that, what so these poppets were never meant to make dark magic or anything like that, just to be clear on you know, the kind of intentions that the poppets were all about. I'm assuming that you can do it for dark magic, but I don't know. So just for clarity, what we're talking about isn't darkness, or because people that are viewing this may not even have gone into magic at all. So
we're not talking about, well, as I already mentioned, well, I'm going to mention in a minute, you know, with everything, there is a certain aspect of people using things to protect themselves.
Yeah.
To, you know, send back what may have been sent their way, you know. But we're not going to be talking about using dolls specifically to go and harm people. No. So we're not going to be talking about using poppets to stick pins in to harm people, because actually that is representative of a voodoo doll, isn't it?
I was just going to say that goes back to the voodoo type horrid, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to say that people may not have done that, you know, and I'm not going to say that people may not do that. Who knows?
Who knows?
But that's not what we're looking at the poppet.
No, our intentions are purely nice.
Yeah, but we are going to talk about the uses of poppets,
of course,
and what people use them for.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at sympathetic magic, then it's not all about feeling sorry for people. So when we say the word sympathetic, we suddenly think, oh, that's it, we're just going to be making dolls to help everybody else. No, we're not. Right, okay. They can be used for that.
Yeah.
But they can also be used to help ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think much, you know, like lots of things in witchcraft, so much is transferable that if you know candle magic, you could do poppet magic, you know.
Yeah.
It's very, very transferable. So if you're somebody who made your own spell candles, you'd be using herbs and oils and colors and things like that you would then use to create your poppet dolls. So it's very, very
similar. It's a very similar concept then. Yeah,
it is. So when we're looking at sympathetic magic, we're looking at magic that is based on the assumption that a person or thing can be affected supernaturally through its name or an object representing it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And if people want to look into that deeper, there has been a guy, Sir George James Fraser, who broke it down further. So he even broke down the sympathetic magic a lot further.
Maybe we'll pop him in the links maybe at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So poppets have been found in England, in chimneys, in thatched roofs, scraped into door frames, panels in the home.
Yeah. I've heard about a baby shoe in a wall or something. Is that kind of, that would be a kind of
yeah. Well, we're talking the Muggle version of Dobby the house elf.
Oh, I love Dobby.
Because ultimately, you know, I do believe that the majority of those things were done through fear of folklore, folk magic, the fear of witchcraft, that kind of thing. And I think that it was and so I think it was people that weren't witches.
Yeah, maybe. Because also people just didn't understand. They never, and probably people still don't understand the concept of when you hear the word witch, it's still you know, Wizard of Oz type, oh gosh, here she comes, and all that sort of stuff. So
or that you're all going to be dressed in black, and you know, it's kind of it's kind of like, you know, there is a big misconception, because who knows who's what in this world today?
Oh gosh, nobody knows anymore. But
we're all so diverse.
Everybody's different. That's right. And everybody's unique. That's one thing we've all got in common. Everybody is unique. But
absolutely, that's what makes us wonderful.
Yes.
So they were most likely protective poppets, as I said, would have been used mainly by muggles. They'd have been placed in areas deemed to be open. Okay, so that's why they were in roofs, chimneys, doorways, all of those kind of places.
Okay, somewhere with an exit type.
Open places where things can come in, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like people would have wanted to stop whatever it was coming into their houses, whatever they thought it was coming. So I mean, ultimately, it's kind of, when I kind of really wrote this and looked into this, and I saw how massive my talk had got, I realized how huge a subject this was, and I was like, wow, you could literally go on all day about these.
Yeah, wicked.
There's so much.
Well, we've got about 40 minutes or so, so we might have to do another talk.
Don't worry, I squished it down a little bit, right? I did. I squished it down. So squished it down. So I mean, ultimately, the top and bottom of it is how do we create poppets, right? Yes. And why do we want a poppet?
Yeah, what's the intention?
Yeah, what's the intention for the poppet? You know, then you've got to think about, how are you birthing your poppet?
Say again. How you what?
Birthing your poppet.
Okay,
birthing your poppet.
Right,
You've
let's
got
go.
To birth your doll, because you have to activate your doll.
Right, yeah. So activate, I get. Right, okay.
Yeah, but some people call it birthing.
Okay.
And then how are you going to feed it? So how are you going to kind of let it know when you want it to be
when
working?
You want it to work?
Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's like anything. If you've got a project and you throw it to the side and you just leave it sitting there, what's going to happen with the project?
It's not doing anything. I've got a couple over there. It's not doing absolutely. I was just, as you said that, I was like, no, yeah.
Not doing anything. So it's like anything. It's like anything. If you give it spirit, then you have to actually look after it, care for it, feed it. You know, it's like a Tamagotchi.
Yes. Oh God.
If people know what Tamagotchis are, I'll probably show my age here.
Yeah. Well, not too far. They're not that old.
No, they're not that old. And I think they came in again recently. So let's say.
Yeah, I think they did.
You know, it was second time round.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But you've also got to think about whether this is a poppet that you're going to be deactivating. So is it a poppet that's going to be used for a specific reason,
one only
for a certain amount of time? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, because there is a difference.
Okay. Oh, okay.
In that. Some people don't deactivate their poppet until it's got too rubby for them to be able to carry it around anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's like if you make a protective poppet and it's sitting in your handbag.
Yeah.
And you know, it's
all sort of shoved like, in our handbag, isn't it?
Yeah, and you take it everywhere with you, and you're constantly activating it in whatever, or feeding it, you know, and this kind of thing. Then it's going to get a bit tatty. So eventually, you are going to have to create a new poppet. You know, so, but you know, each to their own.
So does it? So if you were to, so if you make a poppet, and we'll get into, obviously we're going to get into how we do it and all that. But if you make a poppet, and if you've kept, if you've done your intentions, etc. So once it's there, so maybe how do we activate? Not how do we how do we keep it alive? Is that just it carrying on the intention?
No, now that's something you've got to work out. So if I was doing chaos magic, which I'm not, okay, so
Mhm.
that's not what I'm doing here. But if I was doing chaos magic and I was creating a servitor, I would be spending a lot longer on my creation than I would a poppet, because a lot more thought has to go into that. That's just in my that for me.
That's very true.
Other people may think differently, but that's just how I feel. And I have a huge, massive checklist of everything that I must remember to do.
Yes.
Poppets are slightly different, because they just are, because it's a different form of magic.
Yeah.
You know, it's not chaos magic, so it's a very different form of magic. But birthing a poppet, I mean, there are lots of different ways to do it. Now, for a start, what we've got to think about is how you're going to make your poppet. Okay?
Right.
So if you're not the crafty type of person, I'm telling you what is awesome. Russian dolls.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Russian dolls open.
Yeah.
You can fill it with all the bits that you need. You can paint it. You can write the name, draw a face. It doesn't have to look amazing. It's a functional item.
Okay. Yep. Got that.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So
yeah.
even though you're not sewing, you're not cutting and sewing and all the rest of it, that poppet, it doesn't mean that you're not putting your intention in, because everything that you put inside this, you have to put your intent into every item and say what it's for. Okay. So it's still work, but it's slightly easier.
Okay. Yeah. And
what do you think of that, Jackie?
I think that's really awesome. So if somebody was like you say, not very crafty, would they be able to do, even though it's not a doll, because it's still, would they be able to do that and draw a little doll on it?
Yes.
Put all this stuff into that. I mean, stuff into that. Nobody can see what I'm doing. Into the box. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can use stones.
Right.
You can even draw on a stone, and then you can attach the items to the stone. Okay.
So basically, we're talking about anything you want, really.
You can be really creative here, you know. It's like everybody seems to think, when they think poppet, they think this.
Well, exactly, because this is my only research that I actually did. I thought I really wanted to be surprised here. So I thought, right, let me just quickly Google just one little video just to see, and some woman was making a poppet, and I was like, and it was like that. Yes, exactly.
You think
which
this?
Is yes.
But then look at this. An imbog sheep poppet.
Oh, a little sheep. Oh, I love that.
A little sheep.
Oh, no, that's cute. Can you put it up a little bit higher, or maybe a wee bit further away so we can see? Wee bit. Yeah, no, that way. That's it. Perfect. Oh, yes.
There you go. So that was made by some of my witchy friends for our imbog ritual. Nice. And we filled them with all the things that we want to bring to us this year. So that's what we did with our little sheep. So this is what I'm saying. They don't have to be dolls.
Yes.
I find that clay is really, really good. So air dry clay is brilliant, because you can create a cavity in the air dry clay. Then you can fill it with your bits and bobs and what it is you need, your crystals, whatever it is. What I buy is little tumble stones, little tiny, teeny ones.
Yeah.
So that I can add those to it. And then you just cover it with a piece of clay. And then you let it dry.
Nice. Yeah. Cute.
Anything else you can think of that we could make them out of?
Oh, anything, I suppose now. The world is your oyster, right? Go on, then, you're going to tell me.
What would they have made them of years and years ago? What do we think they would have used to make?
The first thing I can think about is wool. That's the first thing I thought.
Wool, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and leather and all that sort of stuff.
twigs and
Twig.
twine.
Oh, okay. So,
And
so you
that's
can make a
where
little twiggy man.
Yeah, and that's where you can bring magical woods into it, you see.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that's where you can tie in
Really earthly.
different woods and the magic. Oh, yeah. See, it opens it up to absolutely loads, you know. Straw.
Yeah.
Straw dolls.
Yeah.
That old traditional straw dolly making.
Yes. Oh, okay.
That's how you could make puppets.
Yeah. So there's probably something in the little straw dollies as well that's
yeah, of course.
to do with
that's a folk craft, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, they're very pretty. I used to make them when I was younger, and I've lost the skill. I don't know how to make them. We used to have an old gypsy fair near where I live, and it was fantastic. And they used to teach you all the traditional, it's called the Black Cherry Fair, and they used to teach you all the traditional crafts. It was really wonderful. I mean, I don't know, it might still go on.
Yeah.
I should find out, really, because
Have
it
a
was
look into
lovely.
it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I've seen some really inventive ways of using poppets. I mean, I've seen tracing paper being used, cellophane being used, all sorts, and they have been to create see-through poppets because somebody knows that somebody is up to some sort of manipulation, up to some sort of fibbing, up to some sort of mischief.
So you'll see through them.
And they've created a poppet with the intention that other people will see through the lies and the manipulation. And I think that is amazing. So a friend of mine showed me that, and that was just incredible. And I thought about where would you place a poppet like that? Because in some respects, if it's a poppet so that people see through lies, manipulation, that kind of stuff, it feels a little bit, you know, it does feel a little bit, but at the same time, I think whoever's creating that puppet is trying to avoid conflict and trying to avoid seeming like a stirrer, maybe, and that kind of thing. So, so wanting people to be able to see for themselves. And then I thought of this amazing idea, and it was, if you didn't have a tree outside of your house to hang it on, so that each day when you go past, you reaffirm the intention of that puppet, then you could hang it in your window in your house, and you could put a mirror behind it. So the negativity that the person is doing, when they do it, it reflects back from the mirror. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So you would have, so you would have like the window. So say there's the window, there's your poppet, and then have a little mirror behind the poppet. Or you could even stick the poppet onto the mirror or whatever. And then hang that up. Yeah, that's amazing.
So that if like the negative behavior that's kind of going on is kind of there because you've created the see-through poppet, as people are seeing through it, it will hit the mirror and bounce right back. Now, that's wicked. A smart one.
That is a very smart one. Yes, I love that. That's so cool. Actually, I think I might need to try that one.
Oh, here we go. Everyone's going to be trying it.
That's it. I'm sure there'll be lots of mirrors dangling in windows all over the place.
Oh dear. Okay. Self means that your intent is strongly represented. You know, there's no doubt about it. Making your own puppet right from the beginning is gonna, I feel, it's got more to it, you know, because you're choosing the materials, you're choosing the stuff that goes in it, you're choosing how you stitch that puppet. You know, I use a blanket stitch because I find it works really well with keeping all the stuffing in. A friend of mine showed me an amazing idea for stuffing, because stuffing is not cheap, by the way, guys, right? So buying stuffing is not cheap. So if you've got an old pillow.
I was just going to say, I had a really old long coat that had lots of stuffing in it. I've literally ripped the coat apart. I've got bags of it up there now that that's very handy for the stuff that I do. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to use it now, Jackie, to make your poppets.
I'm going to be making poppets.
I can see that you're going to be making all these little poppets now.
I'll have no room in my house because there's just stuff going on everywhere in this house. I tell you, you have no idea.
The great thing about making your own poppets as well is that as you're sewing or as you're painting or as you're whatever it is you're doing, you could be chanting your intent into it, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
And again, that will tie in with magical stitching and knot work.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're someone who's really fancy with your stitching, you could even tie that into knot magic, you know, which is fantastic. So you'd be making a poppet, sewing it with knot magic or needle magic. So it brings in all of those other components.
Wicked. Yeah.
Colours.
Yeah.
Materials to represent people.
Yeah.
So if your mum wore blue and white flowers a lot, find some blue and white material.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So it's very good. So saying specific words. So if you're someone who isn't good at chanting, okay, because this is the other thing, isn't it? So as we have people who aren't great at crafting, we also have people that might feel uncomfortable chanting because everybody's at different places.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're someone who's very new to witchcraft and you're creating your first poppet, sitting there chanting might make you feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yes. When you say chanting now, for the people who are maybe looking at this that don't know anything and they're just curious, so have you got an example of a chant, or you don't have to say like how would you go about chanting? Because I mean that's the thing in itself, isn't it? Like chanting, how would you go about chanting for your intention for your poppet? Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I was going to get round to that.
Okay, well, I'll let you. I won't diverse you then. You carry on.
I was going to get round to that in a minute.
Okay, good. Cool. You carry on.
Because first of all, I wanted to say to people that are new to this, that if you go online, there are comprehensive lists of magical herbs, magical trees, magical everything. You know, there is so much out there now for you to use.
There is.
And you've also got to remember, it's not just about what everybody else is using.
No, you can do what you want.
It's what makes you feel comfortable as well.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like when you read a list and it gives you all of these protective herbs, you know, protective oils and all of this kind of stuff, you may sit there and think, well, I don't really like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me feel good. I mean, I've written in my example to use bergamot. But I wouldn't necessarily use bergamot because I use patchouli or sandalwood.
Right. Okay. Oh, sandalwood I love.
Yeah.
That's probably my favourite out of those three.
Yeah. It's kind of what makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So as I say, you'll find ingredients for dolls, protective ones, but you'll also find ingredients for baneful magic. And I think this is what you were kind of getting at, Jackie.
Yes.
Is you know, are these dolls just used for good, right?
Yes.
Well, in all honesty, probably not.
No.
You know?
Well, depends on who uses them and what they're for.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we do have to be realistic about this, and
sure.
And I think that when we say baneful magic, it doesn't mean dark magic. You know, I think that I've kind of had this conversation with a lot of witches in the past about this.
Yeah.
So you know, I run a page as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll stick that onto. Well, no, can't because it's private, isn't it?
Yeah. So I run a page. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not here to advertise my page anyway.
No.
Right? So, but I run a page.
If anybody's interested, then they can get in contact with you. I take it.
Yeah. But we've had this conversation when people have put up things about dark magic and they've used the word dark magic.
Yeah.
And then we've had responses from other witches who have said, "Can you please not call it that?"
Yeah.
You know, can you call it baneful magic? And actually, if somebody has done something to you that is really bad, then what is the heart? Why should I feel awful about sending it back to them? It belongs to them anyway. So giving them back what is theirs is not dark magic. They owned it anyway. So there's a big, massive debate on this kind of thing in witchcraft. Yeah. So whilst it might not be in other magical circles, it most certainly is, because it's been on the page quite a lot, to the point that I now kind of avoid the conversations on it, because everyone's so separate on how they feel about it.
It's quite a it's a deep thing, isn't it? It's not like
because
you talk about good and then that's okay. If you talk about giving shit, then that's
absolutely. But like they're saying, they're not giving the stuff, they're sending it back.
Yes, so they're just giving back giving their shit back to them.
Which when you think about it, is not much different to what you'd be doing with the see-through poppet and the mirror.
Yes, exactly.
Reflecting back to them what it is they're sending out. So it's just protecting yourself really from what is being sent out to you. So it's reflecting it back off, and that would be a protective poppet, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
So we'd be looking at bay leaves, and things like that, so you could write down your stuff on a bay leaf. Now we're all Sharpie crazy, so it's Sharpies are great for writing on a bay leaf.
I've just harvested a huge box full of bay leaves. I just have to say that. me and the mother we sat there today. That's really funny that you've mentioned bay leaves, because I'm sitting there going cutting up all these bay leaves.
But they're so useful. They're so useful, and I'm so blessed. I have colleagues that I work with that grow a lot in their gardens, and I grow a lot in my garden too. And we do herb swaps. So
that's interesting.
It's very cool, and I do it with my witchy friends too. So we have herb swaps because I'm really lucky to belong to 2 moots within my local area, and so where I live, we have quite the community, so it's we're not out on our own, and we're constantly trying to encourage people in the area to join, so they can come and learn, and so they can get to know us, and so they don't feel that they're solitary witches if they don't want to be solitary witches. We are here. So there are, kind of, if you were making a protective poppet, then here is going to be a little suggestion for some bits. So if you were making your first protective poppet, so I grow Angelica root, okay? Now it takes me 2 years to get my Angelica root. So I have to really let it grow
slow.
thick.
Long and slow, that one.
Smells beautiful.
Yeah.
When you first pull it out of its dirt and you smell it, it smells absolutely beautiful. And then you get to whiz it in your little grinder, and your house just smells amazing.
Wow.
So that's another good tip, everyone. Get an electric grinder.
Definitely, yes. Yes, that's right. Good idea.
So you could have Angelica root, bay leaf, which you can write on, bergamot oil, black pepper, cinnamon, rose petals. So lots of these items do have other meanings as well.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, what could you use rose petals for?
For love in the room.
For a love doll, right? Which again is another one you've got to be careful with, because what is your intention for the love doll?
Well,
it's kind of
glad I don't have to bother with that one.
No, neither do I, which is wonderful. Wonderful. But you know what, if you created 2 love dolls, one to represent you and your partner, and you're both really busy with life, and there's so much going on, and you're kind of feeling that we're kind of not drifting apart, but we feel like we're being pulled apart, then you could have your little representation of each other, and every day you could just move it a little closer, and move it a little closer, and move it a little closer. And then your intention would be to bring yourselves back together and to distract yourselves from all of the other stuff that is going on.
Crap around you. Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
That's very sweet, isn't it?
That's very
lovely.
Sweet. Yeah.
Okay. So on to the activation. There are, of course, some really lengthy rituals for activating or birthing your poppet.
Okay.
But we're not even going to look into those, okay, because they're very long. And I wouldn't necessarily do those rituals. I would call the quarters, okay, and I would be meditating on my intent until I felt that me and my poppet were surrounded by that amazing energy. So it would either be the quarters or it would be angelic energy. So that's what I would be looking for to help me with my poppet.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were talking about a chant earlier, so I wrote to look at chants, okay, just to give an example. But what I wanted to say to people, if you don't chant and you feel uncomfortable with chanting, use words.
Yeah.
Words are a chant.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
the same thing.
It's all, yeah.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing.
Okay,
because ultimately, if you're not someone who's used to sitting around in groups of people going, you may not want to do it, right?
No, it's quite hard.
Okay.
It's hard work.
Yeah. So what I would be doing is I would be meditating on my intent until I felt me and my poppet were surrounded by energy.
Right.
Then I would chant and name my doll and its purpose. Okay. So I'd be naming my doll there and its purpose.
Okay.
Then I would breathe into the poppet's mouth 3 times.
Okay.
So I am breathing life into that poppet.
Into the puppet, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's what you've got to remember. You've got to look after that puppet.
Yeah.
Because it's got your energy in it, okay? Because you're breathing that life into it. So as above, so below, in the breath of life into the name, I blow. This created by my hand will do my bidding wherever I stand. If I choose to take with me my closest ally, the name shall be, but no matter where I choose you to stay, my helper you shall remain. As I say it, so mote it be. So there's an example of a chant to get your poppet up and going. And what I'm looking for now,
so just to reiterate, because as you did that, you were just talking. So when you say chanting, would you be like singing?
You know what? No, I wouldn't. No, because I don't. Because
that's okay. That's okay to me. I can talk. I can talk for England.
Yeah, but I may say it a few times over.
Okay, so chant repetitive.
Yeah. So I may say it a few times over until I felt that it really, really kicked in.
That it stuck. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So you kind of know, I'm assuming, that when you're doing your chant, etc., on your poppet, etc., then when you have to really go for it and really think that's intention is true, correct?
You're pushing that intention.
You're pushing that intention into the poppet.
Yeah, so you're meditating.
If you don't believe in what you're saying, then it's never going to happen, correct?
It's not. That's correct.
Yeah. So
that's correct.
So with regards to everything with intentions, then if you don't believe that it's going to happen, then there's no point in you bothering with the poppet.
Intention is primary.
You need to make the effort. Correct?
Intention's primary.
Yes.
You know, we can create these in our heads.
Yeah.
You know, if you're somebody who is well versed in magic, you could create a kind of poppet in your head and send it out, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're not somebody who is that versed in magic, then you're going to make a poppet doll, aren't you?
That's
you know,
right.
and this is going to be your kind of beginning of where
also,
you're going to be learning.
Yeah. Also, it's a thing to look at. I think that things to look at rather than just having in your head, because everybody can do shit in their head, can't they? But having something to look at, and if everything's believability in my opinion.
Yeah.
So regardless of how many years or whatever you've been doing this, that, and if you don't bloody believe in what you're doing, then there's no point. Nothing's going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah. No. And yet a lot of things get kind of confused along the way, and you go into some bloody big hole and learn this, learn that, learn this, learn that, and then you forget that really all it is you got to believe in what the fuck you're doing. Yeah. Excuse my language, but you've got to believe in yourself. Right?
You've got to believe in yourself, you know, and
believe in the shit that you're doing.
Yeah, and that's kind of where you need confidence. You need confidence in your own.
You can tell that I'm getting passionate about this because I'm swearing. Apologies.
I haven't sworn once. I'm doing brilliant. This is really good.
I know, you're doing better than me. Hey,
smashing it, right? But yeah, it is, and it's all about confidence, and that's why I've tried to explain on how to do it as a beginner, how to do it as somebody who's more confident, and then right at the topmost level where we're all maybe going to reach one day, where you could actually do it in your head, you know. And I'm not going to say that I'm there, because I am not. I make dolls, so I mean, this is what I do. But of course, as we're going to look at feeding, you know. But before we go on to that, I'd like to say that I would want to be giving a dedication to say thank you to the elements, right, for helping me, for assisting me, okay? And how I do that is I love incense, okay? I absolutely love incense.
Yeah. That's the best thing, isn't it? It's like, well, that kind of gets you straight in there, doesn't it? It's like you smell it and you go, oh, okay, I'm there. Yeah. You can be in an Egyptian temple, you can be wherever you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, for people who are going to be using particular deities to help them activate their poppets, then they will find things that deity likes.
Yeah.
And so they'd probably leave them out as an offering. So for Hecate, I know she likes garlic. For Persephone, I know she likes pomegranates. You know, it's what's representative of that particular god or goddess. And you would probably leave those out for them. If you were asking your ancestors, then you'd probably use oats and milk, and you'd pour it into the ground for them.
Okay.
So, you know, it's everybody has their kind of different ways. And as I say, again, it will probably be regional, who you've learnt with, who you've learnt from, you know, and because I think what you got to remember with witchcraft, and let's be honest about it, nothing was written down until Bede. Okay. And he was a monk. So ultimately, he would have written his own account based on how he saw it.
Yeah.
So they're tracing it back historically is actually quite difficult. So a lot of stuff that people know or people do has been built upon since it was first found. Yeah. So it's not always, you know, people may say, oh, this is the most traditional way of working, but how would you really actually know? No, because you can only follow it back to a certain point.
Yeah.
And as we know,
it's the same with everything, though, isn't it? It's the same with all of it. The tarot, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say who said what, when, and whatever.
Yeah.
Religion, who said what, when. You know. But I think it must be it's a personal thing. It's up to you what you think and how you feel.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, that's exactly how I see it. Yeah. I've seen an amazing poppet made, and it was a 3-headed poppet, and it was to bring a group of friends together again.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it was a group of people that are kind of drifted apart, had a few Barneys, you know, a few misunderstandings, you know how it goes. Somebody made a poppet to bring the group together again, and I thought that was. I don't know. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was
very nice,
lovely idea, you know. And there are loads and loads of books out there on poppets, absolutely loads of books. I mean, I think there's one by Silver Ravenclaw, it's fantastic, really good book. There's one by Lucia Staza, great book.
That's what I was going to come into at the end. So yeah, we'll get those put down in the links at the after definitely. Your favorite 3 I was going to ask you, but let's get on with what you're going.
I see. Okay. So do you want to talk about feeding?
Yes, please. Let's feed this poppet.
Okay. Let's feed our babies.
Oh gosh.
Our little babies, our poppet babies.
I'm feeling a bit tingly here. It's a bit weird. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. Okay. Go on, carry on. Let's go.
What I mean is keeping your poppet going.
Yeah.
Right. So these are things that you set up when you're making your poppet. So when you're making your poppet, you'll be thinking about how you're going to keep this going. Now, do you know what I have? I have this little tiny pan drum, and I make little notes on the pan drum, and that's what I use. You know, other people may use words, they may use drops of oil, whatever it is for them, whatever it is for them, but it's something that you do on a regular basis,
consistently,
that you've decided upon at the beginning of your poppet making.
Excellent. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah,
because you've got to keep empowering it. It's going to go sleep.
Yes, consistency. Yes, there is it. That word keeps popping up here and there. Yes.
Yeah. No, don't even go there with it.
Yeah.
Seriously, every night, 6 o'clock, should be doing your study.
Yes, I know that one.
You look as keen as me, Jackie.
Oh my God, you have no idea, mate. It's all good fun.
Dear.
All good fun.
Deactivation. So if you're not keeping your poppet forever, so I think we spoke earlier about the handbag poppet. Go on.
I'm just wondering, deactivation, if you're not physically feeding it, will it just not deactivate itself? I have to ask, because otherwise I forget my question. No, it'll still carry on, but just not as potent. Okay.
And you know something, I wonder if your poppet could get a bit, I'm going to swear it, pissed off with you if you don't look after it.
Oh yeah, like the Tamagotchi.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Your poppet might get a bit pissed off with you.
I'm feeling sorry for my poppet already and haven't even made one yet.
You'll be falling asleep and all of a sudden, all you'll see is this huge red doll right in front of
in your face. Oh God. Oh my God. There, see, now there would be my problem. How am I going to not forget to feed my poppet? I'm pretty sure if I made one, I would make one for a good enough intention that it would, I would remember to bloody feed it. Is right.
Well, you'd be working on it, wouldn't you? So if you made it for a friend for healing, you would be working on that.
That's
for
different.
them, you know. And so you'd probably come home and you'd probably sprinkle fresh petals on it each day or something. Do you get what I mean? You'll ask the bush as you go past, can I have some berries or
stuff for myself? Would I always forget about whatever I've got to do for myself, so hey. If I could do it for everybody else, that'd be fine.
If your mate likes a gin and tonic, you know, you can always have a gin and tonic with your poppet.
Oh no, there's a good idea. Glass of wine, come on, poppet, one. Little sprinkle. I think we're going off on one now.
Oh dear. Well, that is what we do.
It's all fun. It's all fun. Let's get to the end of this.
Deactivation in then.
Yes.
Okay. So you've really got to put the same amount of respect
into
deactivating your poppet as creating your poppet, because you're releasing your poppet's energy. Okay. You're kind of putting it out there, and you're asking the universe to dispel it and to get rid of it, and to, you know, it's done now, and your poor little poppet's life is over.
Oh,
it's rather sad. It's rather sad. So don't make them too nice, guys, because you'll never want to get rid of them.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking. I'm thinking all arty. I'm going to do this. Maybe I won't. Depends on But if you want to keep your poppet for like a long term, then that's fine, isn't it? You know. But if you only want it for one thing and one thing only, and then you're going to deactivate it, then just do a little basic.
Don't get too dependent on your
Don't
poppet.
get arty
Seriously,
with
it's
it.
like it's meant to work for you. All right.
Yeah,
you're not meant to
I'll be
work
like,
for it.
I can't get rid of it. It's just so cute.
It's not a cat. It's not a cat. Although I've
gone a bit weird in my old age. I'm like, oh no, I can't. Hormones.
No, I was going to say, I did make a poppet for my cat, and what I did, because I have a tripod cat. He's only got 3 legs, and so he can get a little bit sore sometimes because he was a stray, and he still wants to go out. So he still climbs fences and does all of that. So he kind of gets a bit of a swelling in his leg. So I took all the hair from brushing him. And that's what I used as part of the stuffing for my poppet.
You filled your poppet, yeah.
I filled my poppet. Yeah. With other things as well, but that kind
did
of
it help the cat?
Too. Yeah, it did help the cat. Absolutely. He loved the fences. So he's doing all right at the moment.
Oh, that's good.
He's in front of me now, looking at me, thinking, she's talking that rubbish again.
Oh, bless him. Oh.
But yeah, so you need to put the same amount of respect into it. It's worked hard for you, and you've asked for help from the elements, all the angelic forces. So you must respect this. You know, this is not like, that's it, I've had enough of my poppet now. Off it goes, and you've got to remember you've added your own energy into it. So throwing that poppet into a bin is it's just not good enough. I'm afraid it's not good enough.
No.
So one way of doing this would be to create your magic circle and thank your poppet and the energies lent. Burn some incense as an offering, or as I said earlier, offerings to deities, whatever it is that works for you. Add some herbs and oils to a cauldron or a chimney. I have a cauldron and a chimney, so I get to choose which one I'm using. And release your poppet's life with a chant of letting go and a chant of gratitude and thanks, for what it is they've done for you or for whoever it is you created that puppet for.
Yeah.
Oh,
go on. I'm not going to interrupt. Carry on.
Go on. And then burn it. You burn it.
Okay.
Then you burn it. Yeah.
Okay.
You burn it. So you burn it on the bed of herbs with your oils on it, and you'd make it a lovely smelling, beautiful, respectful Viking bed.
Oh, bless, yes. So yeah, just I've got to ask, because in general, it has been said that if you do healing on somebody, you need to ask their permission. So yes, so just to put that out there, that if anybody was to do a poppet, then ask for permission to give that healing to them, because
don't ever do anything without anyone's permission.
That's right.
It's I think that's just the
just
general.
had to say that. Just had to put that out there, because I know some people have done healing with the greatest of intentions, and then it kicks back, and it doesn't work for them, and then they get kicked back, and always ask permission.
Absolutely. And this is why we don't do love spells. We don't do love spells. We don't do any of those kind of things, right? They're just an absolute no. Like I said to you earlier, if you want to create a poppet for you and your partner, so you can, have these cute little dolls of each other to carry around, so you feel close when you're far apart and all of that, that's absolutely perfect. And you can fill them with each other's favorite things, but you both know you're doing it, and you're both in on it, and you're in a loving relationship already.
That's right.
But the minute that person doesn't want it anymore, I'm sorry, but you're going to be deactivating that puppet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everybody has free will.
That's right.
And you should never take away someone's free will.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, so
Okay.
perfect.
There's also burying your poppet. So this is another thing that I've heard of, and I kind of get that, because it would be using that really wonderful grounding earthy magic,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So some people, I believe, pop their poppets in jars and things and bury their poppets, and they actually leave them down there for a while, until they bring them up to activate them.
Okay, right, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what I think
So
about
lots
that
of
bit.
ideas
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Lots of ideas there, you know.
Yes. It's kind of
Um,
get down and dirty and kind of do your research. You're gonna give me the best 3 books, aren't you?
well, I'm
About
going to give you the
puppets.
best 2 books,
Okay, the
because,
best
like
2
I
books.
say,
Whatever.
I am lucky to belong to groups of witches.
Yes.
So I don't need to read loads of books. And to be quite honest, like I said earlier, once you've learned certain things in magic, in witchcraft magic, they're transferable to mostly all things. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're looking at color magic, that's transferable to your puppet. If you're looking at not magic, it's transferable to your puppet. Herbal magic is transferable to your puppet.
Yeah.
So the list is endless. They literally just go across.
Yeah.
So it gets to the point where you don't need to read books all the time, because you kind of know what it is you want to do.
Exactly.
No?
Yeah.
So
But
it just starts to come naturally. So I'm going to say my 2 favourite books are Poppet Making by Silver Ravenclaw.
Okay.
Fantastic book. And the other one is Poppets by Lucia Starza.
Perfect. We'll put the links in after when I put this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that, and if anybody wants to get in contact with you, obviously we'll get your permission, and if they need to speak to you, then they can, I'm assuming.
They can do.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, that was so cool. That's very fascinating. Now, you did show me, before we go, you did show me a very odd looking thing just before we went live, before we went on air. Can you just show me that again, and just a quick one, because now I need a wee.
Okay. So that was this.
Look at that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and this is something that I was thinking I would be able to make a poppet with for hanging outside as a protection poppet. And what I would be able to do is tie all the things to it and make it like some sort of pretty dangling kind of charm.
Wow. Yeah.
So like a poppet charm, if that makes sense. So he has a face.
Yes, I can see. He's got a cool face. Yeah.
He's got a face. So that's what I was going to do with him. So I'll make my own beads, because I'll chart my beads that have certain numbers, certain colours, you know, whatever it might be as I'm making it. And then I thought he would be wonderful to keep at a door to protect my home. I have I have ash, I have beech, I have everything all around my house. I collect sticks and twigs.
Wow.
From everywhere. And he came, there were 3 of him. So I was able to separate him down. So I've used 2 in something else, and he's who I've got left.
Oh, that's wicked.
Shops.
Brilliant.
Charity shops, everybody. That's where you need to go.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, no, I love that. That's wicked. Charity shops. Okay. I'm up that. I'm definitely going to go for that one. Right. Thank you so much. We better not babble on too long, because and I shall have an amazing chat with you later soon, actually.
You will do. Take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Peace out. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Wicked talk. Absolutely amazing.
Bye.
Bye. Wow, that was so good. Yeah, so poppets. Get making your poppets, people. Yeah, so this, oh my goodness, that was really interesting, right? There's going to be some more, I think, from Becky coming very soon. So please subscribe to the channel, and you'll get some more information. And there's tons and tons of other stuff coming up. So please subscribe. We've got loads and loads going on, all sorts of stuff. So even if you're not interested in one thing, I guarantee we've got everything going on here. So within the next few months, we'll have a good old collection. So get yourself subscribed, and there's some more stuff from me coming up soon. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Have a fabulous evening. All right, bye for now.